guys, what's going on? Welcome to probably like the first podcast style video that I ever made. Um, Here on my side, there is a very good friend of mine, Luke, who I've known for probably like 10 years or a bit less. So today,
I think it's a bit more actually.
since 2015, actually, I
I
think.
don't know, but I'm sure it's more than 10 years.
Something like that. It's plus or like 10 years ish, whatever. It's around that. Anyways, we got the Holy Bible, as what Luke likes to call it. I mean, we will be discussing a few thoughts with regards to the fear of the unknown. So this podcast would most likely, like, overcoming the fear of the unknown is a better title on how we can call the podcast.
Yeah.
It's sharing a few thoughts, hope to inspire some of you, and basically we've both had our fair share of dealing with the unknown throughout the last few years, and I believe like there's a few thoughts that one can take from each other to learn from, and it's always a good idea to learn from someone else's mistakes. So in this case, this is one of the reasons why we're doing this, and to also experiment with new form of content, and let's get on to it. So let's start with the introduction. So we already said your name. Everyone knows that you are Luke.
I'm Luke. Firstly, thank you for having me on your podcast. It's been a very, very long time since we've been saying we're going to make one. I come over to his house very often and we just chill and we have so many deep talks. And it's not the first time that he says, you know what, this can be so beneficial to my viewers. So it's good to be on this podcast and see what we manage to give you from our life experiences, which might be of value to you.
Definitely.
Might not. If it's not, you can just pause it or you can just move on to the next thing. But yeah, it's just a bit of a chat, just a bit of a sit down. You can get to know me more. You can get to know the experiences we both had, and hopefully we can kind of inspire you to some extent.
Tea is still hot.
Yeah,
Anyways.
it has that effect.
So basically, we are both of similar age. We've both kind of like lived very different lifestyles. So we come from a different background, different lifestyle. So obviously, that means that we both deal with things differently. And this has also been one of the things that we do it differently, but we do certain things very similar to each other. And this is what basically like the nice thing about forming friendships, like and we learn so much from each other that sometimes it's very good to have a good conversation with a good friend of yours.
As in, it's good to have like an objective view. You know, sometimes we're just so stuck in our minds when we think of doing something, or we're overcome by the fear of emotion and stuff like this. And just having someone who can kind of sit you down and be like, listen, this is not the way it is. You know, your mind just needs to slow down and just take a deep breath. And yeah, I can tell you my share of it, what I think it looks like. And just having them hold you accountable and maybe help make sure you're on the right path. I think that's really good. And that's a good thing to have in a friendship, any friendship.
Definitely. So let's give a brief introduction what you're up to right now. Like, where has life taken you? So he's not living in Malta at the moment. So tell us more.
Yes, so I'm Maltese. I've been brought up in Malta for most of my life. I've traveled abroad quite a lot ever since I was young. I always loved to travel solo by myself. I've traveled for the first time when I was just 15 years old. I went to Liverpool, I remember, for a week completely by myself. Everybody thought I was a bit crazy. But it's just something I like to do. I just like to throw myself in unknown environments every now and then, put my life a bit inside out and just see what I'm capable of doing. And it's scary when you do it, but when you look back, you just take a lot of memories with you. And ever since that trip, I've always just had this little fire in my belly to just explore more. I've lived in different places as well. So I've lived in the UK for a few months. I lived in Hungary for a few months, and now I'm currently living in Vienna. So yeah, today I'm visiting Andrea here in Malta just for a few weeks. I'm not here that often, but yeah.
How long have you been in Vienna now? 2 years, 3 years?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2. No, I've been 2 years. What am I saying? My 2 year anniversary was last week. So if you have one of those like those sound effects, which you can make, please throw it in now.
I'll try to explain that. But 2 years. So you've left 2 years ago. Damn.
Yes, and I remember so clearly before I moved there. I was sitting right here telling Andrea how scared I was to do it.
Oh yeah, I can remember that very clearly. He was like so scared. Like we had a good conversation about being scared, and funny because I've actually done what he did back in 2019 when I decided to move to Germany, and obviously I've been through what he was feeling 2 years ago, a few years back. So I was telling him like, it will be okay. You will not want to come back, and basically that is what happened.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
so what are you up to now? So you are studying.
So now I'm studying full time. I'm studying marketing. So I really like the creative industry. I really like the business world and everything like this. Anything which works within the business realm in general. And yeah, I think as a person, I've definitely got quite a startup mentality in my brain. I've been working for some large organizations throughout my life. Yeah, I've started my own startup when I was younger as well. That didn't work out, but doesn't mean I shouldn't advertise it, right?
Definitely.
Um, and yeah, now I'm just studying mainly, um, and just traveling a little bit every now and then, coming to see my friends, trying to explore new places and seeing where life takes me. Because the thing is, you never know where you're heading. And Andrea can tell you this himself. I am very much an overthinker as a person. I think a lot. And what I realized is that no matter how many walks I've been on by myself, where I'm just in my mind constantly trying to predict my future, when I look back on my life, it's never turned out how I thought it would, no matter how much I overthought it. So it
Oh,
just makes me realize that, yeah, I'm just kind of preconditioning myself and just trying to make myself relive something before it actually happens.
that's what worrying is.
That's what worrying is. But now I think I've definitely learned to live life more off the edge, off the edge. More to let that fear sit within me. And instead of letting fear hold me back, I'm more now trying to see what can I learn from this fear. Okay. Even whenever I want to try something new, if I want to try a new job, if I want to try a new hobby, if I want to travel somewhere else, and it's just seems impossible at first. I try and overrun that fear in my brain. I say fear is not there to stop me. Fear is there to help me. Fear does so many good things for us, and I think I heard this quote once which says, "Fear is false evidence appearing real," which means we're just so stuck in it sometimes that we create a scenario for us where fear stops us. But fear is actually our friend if we had to reframe it, because fear is what gets you up early in the morning to make sure you arrive at work on time. Fear is what makes you stay up late at night to study and pass your exams. Fear is what made me make sure I am 100% ready before I move to Austria. Make sure I have my papers in place. Make sure I don't forget anything behind. Make sure I have everything organized for my stay there. Without fear, I probably wouldn't have managed to get there. So, fear is always going to be present in our lives, right? I think it's about reframing it and seeing what we can take from it. Don't you agree?
I do. I do. So like, there's this quote that always sits on the back of my mind, and it's like basically also like worrying about what's gonna happen is like walking with the umbrella on a sunny day waiting for the rain to happen, and you are basically. I had a quote in my Bible about fear. It's basically it was something with regards to Jesus.
Something with regard to Jesus.
No, it was actually quote like fear is basically you are going through the worrying and the pain of worrying
Okay.
when you're not even like you are living through something that might even not even happen.
Exactly.
So basically, let me just check if it's still recording. And basically, like that's the thing about what
That's the thing about fear, right?
that's the thing about fear.
It's it's a bit numbing in a way. It just you get so stuck in your head and it feels like you're on anesthesia in a way. Like it kind of blocks you and you kind of sit in it
Yeah,
and just this cloud just overtakes everything, and it's just you've got to sit down, you've got to let that cloud pass, and you've just got to see through it. Because think about it, it's not like me moving abroad is something which has not been done before. There's people who have done this for all their life. If we think about it, we kind of represent a whole generation of ancestors. You know, I am the newest person in my family, kind of thing. And I kind of have a legacy behind me of all of my family, which, um, before I was born, they had to go through hardships. You know, they had to, I don't know, maybe work in farms and work in fields in really hot weather and hot climate. And some people wouldn't make it, and my family did. And maybe cooking food on an open stove on an open fire when they were very long time ago. And they managed to make through, you know?
Definitely.
So, um, now obviously we're in a different scenario. We don't have to cook food on an open fire. We don't have to probably work in farms as much as it used to be in the past. But there's always going to be an element of fear kicking in. And if my family could do that in my past, there's no reason why I cannot. And whenever I'm in a tough situation, I try not to picture myself by myself. I try to represent my whole ancestry, that everybody's with me in the choices that I take.
Definitely. And like today, there's like this very, like, people are so stuck up in their comfort zone that they basically don't even try to do certain things, or don't even try to extend their ideas beyond their boundaries, or try to even think beyond their comfort zone. And it's actually quite, for me, it's something that I never got to understand, because I obviously, I I am someone that likes taking risks, and
Oh, he really likes taking risks. To be
yeah.
honest, he really scares me at times.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, every time I fucking come down to Malta, he's got some new thing which he's up to. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna dedicate everything towards it. And I'm like, slow down, catch your breath. But it's impressive. He perseveres in what he wants. And I take a lot from you when you do this, to be honest, really.
And like, that's the thing, like, for me, I have this mentality that if you're going for something, just not go big or go home, but like, kind of like go all in. And till you try, you will not know if it's going to fail or not. So that's why, like, I encourage everyone to think big, think beyond, and like, kind of like, basically have a vision that scares the shit out of you when you are thinking about it. Like, my vision, when I told him, he was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I remember your reaction when I explained to you what I'm up to in the next few years. And he's like, shit. So this is the type of stuff that you really, you should be trying to think about.
And in a
And
way, it's like, I might fail, but if I fail, I know I have what it takes to pick myself up again.
yeah,
And
it's trusting yourself.
and that's something which I've always taken with myself. Whenever I want to leap, I say, you know what, I'm just gonna hold that fear and I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna leap, you know, because either one thing's gonna happen. I'm either gonna jump and fly, I'm either gonna jump and fall down hard, or I'm gonna fall down extremely hard, but either way I'm gonna pick myself up.
And it's funny because I have a quote which relates to what we're talking about. Like, when it feels scary to jump, it's at that moment when you should just take the leap and jump,
Literally.
and then figure out your next steps on your way, down. So basically, I might be doing something relating to this in the next few weeks, basically. But this is the thing. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm not scared. Like, to be honest, sometimes you are scared of certain things, but it's like knowing that you can handle whatever shit is gonna come your way. It's at that moment when you become not dangerous, but kind of dangerous, because like, life just does not stop for me. And I fail, good, I learn, and then what's next, like that. This is the thing.
You kind of become so unapologetically yourself,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like, you know, I'm not gonna run fast, but I'm not gonna stop running, kind of thing. You know, I know what I'm capable of doing, and I'm gonna get there. And I'm just gonna fail forward if I need to. You know,
Fall
I'm just
forward,
gonna
yeah.
pick myself up again if I need to. Um, what's worse is having regrets, which you've always had things at the back of your mind, and you just regret not doing it. It's something I don't want to sit with for my life. I think that's a bigger pain to have in the long term. Maybe short term wise, yes, it's when my family come up to me and they say, "Oh my God, Luke, you're so lucky. You have your own life for yourself abroad. You've done all of this."
I hate that when they say
Honestly,
fuck.
it's like downplaying the whole thing. I'm like, no,
Lucky.
I had to take steps. I had to push myself. It was not easy. And when they say that, it just makes it sound like, okay, it's just handed to you on a silver platter. And I'm like, absolutely not. I had to work really hard for that. But, you know, I don't take it against them when they say that because, yeah, maybe they just don't understand those steps. And that's fine. That's my vision to understand, and it's not theirs.
That's true. So, like, if I had to ask you, like, how do you deal when you are faced with the unknown? Like, let's say you have to take a decision to move to a new country or to do something that is pretty much unknown to you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how would you deal with this if when it comes to taking such decisions? Because everyone obviously has their own ways of.
I like to replace fear with information. So whenever I can, I would do my research. Okay, I try and get as much information as I can. Try to understand the feeling I'm going to have.
Doesn't
Of
it get
course,
overwhelming?
it definitely does, but then that's self discipline. You've got to realize this is the amount I can take, and other than that, yes, the experience is not going to be something I can completely look at from just being inside my bedroom doing some internet research. There's also the unknown which you have to step into, and that's just something which is just a given. If you want to move to a country, there's something new which is going to happen, and you kind of have to be strong enough within yourself to say, okay, it might work out, it might not. But if I'm in a place where I need to make a decision, when I'm not sure of something, I sit in it. I'm not going to take action before. I'm not going to say 100% sure because I never feel I'm 100% sure. But I kind of listen to my gut. There's always something within my gut or a little voice or a little nudge which I feel, which tells me, no, Luke, you need to take the step. Or Luke, maybe this is not for now. So I think it's important to sit in it. And everyone's always saying speed. We live in an information technology age where everything's just happening so much at speed. But at sometimes when you make such big decisions about your life, you need to pause and reflect. Take yourself out on a walk. If you don't get the answers today, maybe you get them tomorrow. But I'm not going to make a decision within a split second if it's going to dictate the next few years of my life.
Yeah, and if you don't end up taking this decision, there's always one that's coming up in a few days or something, a new opportunity that will come up in the next wherever. But that's so basically, are you that type of person that likes to speak it up with other friends, or you just prefer to keep it for yourself? Like how would you consider
I
your
think I'm definitely the kind of person who loves. I'm a vocal person. I like speaking a lot. I love getting other people's opinions. But that is a kind of extreme which I need to kind of push myself away from because you are the one who's going to take the lead. You
definitely
have to listen to yourself. And there have been many times when I'm just listening to other people, listening to some podcasts which I've made. But I think a podcast is like a buffet, you just take what you want and what you don't want, you don't take. And it's the same thing with your friends. They're going to give you so much advice, but nobody knows you as much as you know yourself.
Yep.
So, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, it's important to have someone who can have an objective view. Sometimes when we're overwhelmed with fear, we don't think of things which maybe Andrea might think of. If I come here and I'm really overwhelmed about, I don't know, not managing to make friends when I move abroad, maybe he has ideas. He actually introduced me to the S theory society before I moved to Austria, and if it wasn't for that, a lot would have been different in my life.
And just like also when you have a friend that they might give you another angle on the problem or on the thing that you're facing. So sometimes getting an idea from a different perspective also can kind of like trigger a set of questions that you have not even thought about answering.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's good to basically sometimes pick it up. Like this is the same for me. I like to get opinions, but typically if I want to do something and in the back of my mind I know that I'm going to take the decision, I'm just going for it
Yeah.
regardless of what people say. um, I remember even when we were younger, like I remember we would be at the store and for example it's that time I remember very clearly there was before the bucket hat trend came in and they started like showing up in stores. I was like, cool, I like it, and I was going to buy one and I was with a few friends and they're like, it's horrible, it's horrible. No one basically said that they liked it out of, for example, a group of five. And I was like, ah, fuck it, I like it, so I'm just gonna go for it. Like I don't care. And then
Oh
the
my
trend
god,
came
I
in,
remember that bucket
and
hat.
then the trend
I
came
was like, what
in.
the fuck is he wearing?
But now it's trendy. Like
You
people
started a
are,
legacy. You started a legacy.
no, I'm probably like even the Birkenstocks. Like okay, Luke doesn't have Birkenstocks. Like all my friends, I was introduced to Birkenstocks, and they're like, holy shit, this is good stuff. And now almost all my friends have Birkenstocks. So
Lovely. Insert Birkenstock emoji here. Insert
Please,
bucket hat emoji here.
please, please sponsor me.
Literally, you don't want to hold that umbrella, right? Your arm's gonna
Please.
get tired. Just wear a fucking hat, which is an umbrella at the same time.
No, but realistically, it's also about like doing things differently. Like people are so in today's society, everyone is the same. Everyone dresses the same. Everyone does everything the same. They want to follow the same life path. They want to do so. When you do something out of the ordinary, people are like, you're normally frowned upon.
Of course.
Like when I decided to move into Germany at the age of 19, like obviously if you are from a foreign country, probably the perspective and the culture is different there. But here it's typically you move out of your parents' place when you get married. So when was about to take that decision at just the age of 19, people were calling me like, you're crazy, you're out of your mind.
What was the reaction of your mom when you told her that you want to move abroad? I'm curious.
It wasn't as bad as I thought because I think it had been coming for a few months. Like I've been inserting hints that I always wanted to live abroad, and I was traveling a lot the previous year as well. So I don't think that it was that bad. And realistically, with today's technological advancements, I mean, like you are still practically connected.
Honestly, I feel that completely. Like, my mom, for example, lives in Ireland, and I just feel like she's next to me all the time.
Yeah.
You know, we can just be on a call whenever we like to, and we managed to connect in almost the same way.
Pretty much. And I would say it even improved the relationship between the family because then you get to also oops, sorry. Then you get to also kind of like appreciate more the time you spend here when you visit. You appreciate it more. So I think it's sometimes it can be beneficial, and obviously you grow up so much. So obviously it was a life changing experience. So like honestly, if you are considering or contemplating moving abroad, do it because it will open up so many doors for you. It's scary. So now if I have to do it, obviously I have to learn from the mistakes I did in the past. But it was definitely worth it. Really, definitely worth it. And it's the same. Like, remember when it was COVID and I was going through furlough? I was focusing on the music. And I was like, I'm coming back to Malta to focus on the music
Yeah.
without having anything else. And instead of going back to my old career, like, I was just coming home just to do something that might not work, which I wouldn't say it didn't work because it opened up the next door. And so like this is the thing. You don't know what's on the other side.
Literally, it's just gonna open another door, right? One door shuts, the next door opens.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Austria to work my full-time job, and I was, yeah, I'm just not there anymore, and now I'm just back into full-time study.
And
If
that's
I
okay.
had to, yeah, literally, but if I had to think about 2 3 years ago when I was making this decision to move to Austria, and you told me I'm going to be studying again, I'd probably frown at you and be like, no, I don't want to do that. So I think it's, you also have to be open to it.
Open minded.
You have to be open minded, and you have to know that things aren't just going to turn out the way they are. And to be honest, isn't that more fun? Like, do you want to live in a life where you know exactly what's happening, you can plan everything, your future is determined by all of the thoughts that you have in the current moment? Like, that's just so fucking boring. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged, throw things at me, let me see new stuff, you know? I want to, like, I don't know, I want to dance until my knees hurt. I want to fall asleep halfway through a conversation because the conversation's too good. This is the kind of stuff that I want in life. And I think to have this, you've got to have the unknown thrown at you sometimes.
And that's the thing. Like here, at least we're only obviously going to. I'm only going to talk about the culture here. It's typically like everyone's following the same path. So basically, you go to school, you go to university,
Yeah.
you graduate, you buy a car, you get a job, you find a partner,
And you die.
and then you basically pay your mortgage or your rent or your
Literally.
loan till you're 56 years old or whatever, and then you pretty much retire with the hope of then starting to travel, but then you're too old to start traveling, and then you die, literally. So
Literally.
like for someone that's literally following, so we're both following obviously a different lifestyle than the norm here in Malta. uh, like I meet friends nowadays my age. Some are, and just to give you context, I'm 24, so still very young. Some of the people my age are married, with kids,
Yeah.
engaged.
Yeah.
Almost like 75%
Yeah.
of the people my age just got a loan to buy a house, and then you see me taking a, a last minute trip to Kuala Lumpur with no plan and barely no return flight, and like, fuck it, let's just do it, you know, like.
You know what I think is beautiful? Like, it's nice to age that way and to have kind of that comfort, but when I look at my grandma's couch in her room, I always used to sit on it. And when I used to sit on it, she used to tell me nice stories. She used to tell me about her lifetime stories, about when she was young, the things she used to do. And she always told me, Luke, she said, you are young, you have your whole life ahead of you. It's time for you to make those stories so that when you get to my age, you have a good story to tell. When you have those children around you, this is your time to make that story for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that really hit me deep. And when I think about it, whenever I have something new approaching me, when I ever have to make a really big decision which is going to affect things, I say, how am I going to make that story damn good to tell? You know, I might not be a good writer. My vocab wasn't the best when I was younger. You know, my English teacher used to tell me, oh, you're not the best writer. But you know what? I can make a good story. And I think that is what is important in this life.
Yes, and recently I was listening to a podcast with Chris Williams and I believe Alex Hormozy, and they were saying like you have to treat your life as if you're shooting a movie and you're the main character.
Okay.
How would you want the character like to act, or how would you want the storyline to be?
Yeah.
And if you actually, there, part of the podcast was like, if you in the movie you had to take the best decision, if you had to take a decision, you would take the decision where you have the most exciting outcome,
Yeah.
the most exciting story to tell. So the thing that makes it more interesting, and this can be also applied to life.
Of course, we want to have as many spectators looking at our movie, you know, when we make it. We want it to be good. We want it to be punchy. We want it to be attractive. That's definitely something we have to do to our own lives as well. And it's, yeah, I
But
think throwing yourself into the unknown is really what creates this for you.
granted, and like, do you believe in like destiny? Like, would you say
That is a really hard question, and I did not prepare for this question.
try?
I don't want to say I fully believe in destiny because then that might give me an excuse to sit on the back burner and to just let life unfold for me.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe certain things do end up, like, I do believe that there's two roads in life, and maybe they're both going to lead to the same way. Fine, that is destiny. Destiny is here. But there's so many different paths you can take, you know? It's just so different, each path that you can take. And maybe if destiny is a thing and I do end up somewhere, I just want to make sure that my journey there is going to be a nice journey. And I can make some twists and turns along the way. I can go up one path, I can go back down it 100 times if I need to. But I will get to that point, and I just want to make sure that it's a journey which fulfills me along the way. So that's definitely my take on destiny.
Definitely. And that's the thing, like, yeah, I mean, I would say that I do believe a bit in destiny, and but yes, I mean, sometimes you don't have to, you shouldn't get too fixated on just try and live it on your own, live life on your own terms, learn from your own mistakes. The more mistakes you do, the wiser you'll get.
Yeah, for sure.
So, especially when you are young or like our age, I mean, do as many mistakes as you can. Like,
Literally.
the last 5 years, 5 years? Well, make it 7 years. The last 7 years since 2018 till today, you would not, like, if I had €100 for every mistake I did, I'd probably be a millionaire right now. But that's the fun of it.
Of course. I mean, it would be fun to have that millionaire, to be honest, because you can do a lot with that too. But
Yeah.
literally, wisdom is also worth something, right? And I'm actually curious, what would you say is one of the biggest regrets you've had to date? And if you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
Mm.
So yeah, another big question thrown at him.
To be honest, I don't have many regrets. So I just have like small, very smallish regrets. I think the biggest regret, I wouldn't call it a regret though. Start earlier.
Okay.
Start earlier. Start, especially like in the parts of business, like experiment more in the beginning. Experiment more. Not be, because in the beginning, obviously, back in 2018, failure was still kind of peeking on the back of my mind, and I was particularly scared of failing, regardless of failing a few times before. So I think that would be the biggest. Well, I wouldn't call it regret. The one thing that I really do regret is like I should have started investing way earlier in life,
Okay.
but it's never too late to start. That's for sure.
Plus, we always do the best that we can with what we know at the time.
Yeah,
So maybe now when we look back, this is not the mentality you had back then when you were sitting in this problem or in this situation, because you had to go through life to learn this. And now looking back, this is the lesson you've taken from life. But in order to have this lesson, you had to get the teaching. You had to go to university. If you want to learn a new language, you need to go to a teacher, you know? And that's just the way it is with life.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like the thing is, like I wouldn't change anything about my past
And that's just, I think that's really beautiful to hear.
because if I did, then I wouldn't probably be here right now.
Exactly.
So the one thing that I say I would regret, it's a regret or not a regret, is be more show more gratitude towards life, towards people in life and this kind of stuff. That yes, I'm not saying that I was not grateful, but be more grateful for the little things that
Yeah.
we take for granted.
Yeah.
But regarding life itself, no, I don't think I would change anything.
That's really nice to hear. I don't think I would either. As I said, I'm thankful for the experiences I've had. They've built me up to whom I am today.
Yeah.
There have been times when, yes, maybe I want to pass forward, you know? I just want to, like, don't want to experience that as much. But that's life. Life's a roller coaster, and I do want to experience the lows because that just makes my highs just much more valuable to me, you know?
That's true. So like what would you say would be something that you are working on this year?
On this year.
What would be something where if we had to meet in the next year, you would say, I've did this, like challenges or life things that you want to do?
I think
Yeah.
I want to learn how to travel more, but within myself rather than from country to country.
What does it mean?
Sometimes whenever I have something which is up, which I don't want to deal with,
You just
I just distract myself. And my way of distracting is either maybe going to buy new clothes or just traveling to go to some new place. But what I want to learn how to do is just sit in it and just learn to have that voyage within myself, explore myself, understand my triggers, understand my needs a bit more. Maybe that might not it might not have an actual end product when I see you next time. But I think it's more of a long-term investment within myself for any other opportunities which I take moving forward.
That's true. I mean, yeah, we all have. Yeah, it's like I understand.
I think there's just so much pressure and so much effort and so much emphasis put on having things which are tangible, working on something and actually touching it, seeing it, being able to show it to the world. But I think, at least within my own personal development journey, certain things I've developed within myself which you probably cannot see. Or maybe you can see, but maybe you can't. That doesn't mean that I haven't put in the effort and the work isn't there. That doesn't mean that I am not proud with what I've gone through and what I've managed to deserve for myself. It's something within me. But maybe if it is something tangible, I don't know, I kind of want to have a little bit more routine in my life, to be honest. The past couple of months have been a bit intense, but I am looking to have a bit of more routine. I do think that when I'm in a routine, I do become more productive as a person. I'm not gonna lie, I do get a bit lazy sometimes whenever I don't have too much to do, or whenever I have things which just have different hours, or waking up at this time, then waking up at a different time the day afterwards. I think I need an element of routine. So yeah.
You should watch my YouTube videos.
I should watch his YouTube videos. See, you should do marketing because you're trying to use PR.
Watch my YouTube videos, guys.
Watch his YouTube videos, guys.
Yes. No, but jokes aside, I mean, yeah, I think for me, if I had to, obviously, I might be taking a very big leap in the next few weeks. But obviously,
what is the sleep?
I will tell you face to face. It's way too confidential at this moment.
Guys, what do you think the sleep is?
Yes, drop something like in the comments. What do you think that is?
Drop it in the comments below.
I mean,
are you gonna try Zumba or something like this?
Oh fuck no, man. I mean, like the thing is, obviously, it's related to business, and that is the one thing that I'm trying to focus on this year. Apart from having a balanced approach to everything, so health is important. Social circle, although right now my social life is but traveling more, I have a few trips planned abroad, and I definitely plan to do a bunch of spontaneous shit.
I hope you come to Austria to visit me.
I will try to go to Austria, vlog more, be more like push out more content, document my journey. Because obviously, I don't know if you guys know, but I am on the way to. Well, it's actually a startup. Basically, I have the my own startup now, and I will be talking more about it in the next few weeks on more videos.
He's done some really good job, or some really good work.
Yeah, so it's there's still a lot to do, but very happy where that already is at. So basically, I think it's more related to business though.
Okay,
Like personal growth will come with other like personal growth will occur when you are growing in other areas as well.
of course.
So fitness wise, I mean, being healthy and this kind of stuff. So learning, constantly learning,
Literally. And I think one of the
important.
most important advices, which maybe I can give, is don't put all of your eggs in one basket, you know? I think success has so many elements to it. Success is a pie kind of thing. Think of it as a pie, you know? You've got health, you've got fitness, you've got finance, you've got spirituality, you've got family, you've got relationships. I don't just want to have fitness as my success point. I don't want to just have financial stability. I want the whole damn pie, because to me that is what success is. Success is, it's an entire experience. It's a holistic experience. It's a feeling. It's something which, and I think that when you become successful, the things which made you successful are things that you had long before you became successful.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, what, for example, there's this thing, like, what does it mean to have $1 million or be a multimillionaire with crippling health, you know?
Of course.
So the same, it's like taking care of the whole picture. But also, I do believe that in certain times in life, you do have to focus more on one thing and not neglect the other, but put it more on the side. So, for example, at the moment, like with regards to, let's just talk about what I'm doing right now. With regards to business, will take more priority over fitness. So, if I have to skip a gym day, a gym session to get some other work done, I will skip it. Doesn't it, obviously there needs to be the line drawn. So obviously you still need to not keep skipping workout days, but if sometimes you miss a training session, it's okay because I'm not going to try and like my goal right now isn't to compete in a bodybuilding show. If that was the case, then obviously the gym would take priority over. So like it's about phases, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing, like you have to be wise enough to say, okay, throughout this period work takes more priority.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm doing with regards to business and life itself. Like right now business is taking more priority, so then when the summer months come I can balance it out with my social life, so I can go out more. Not saying that neglect business, obviously not,
Yeah.
but you know, being a balanced, having a balanced approach. And that's the thing, like success is defined differently by every person. So
Yeah.
obviously success for you is very different than
Of
success for
course.
me.
Of course.
So
It's an individual
it's an
experience.
individual, yeah, for sure. And like, so what would you determine, what would be an ideal successful life for you? Like how would you deem a successful life? What would be your I don't know.
I think feeling present to me is the kind of success I want in my life.
Fuck, that's a heavy one.
Feeling present. I
Yeah.
don't want to be in a situation that no matter what I've managed to obtain within my life, I'm always thinking, what's the next big thing? I want to learn how to sit in what I've got and be thankful for it. And I also want to learn how to, maybe sometimes push myself more. Go out with my friends late at night, even if it is a bit late. I just want to create a good experience for myself. Throw myself out there, do opportunities. You've got people who are the most successful businessmen, but when you tell them about their life story, if they had to cut out business, is nothing. And
Yeah.
that's just not something I want for myself. As I said, I want to create a good movie. I don't just want the sales of the movie, but I want the movie itself. I want that process of getting there.
Yeah, I guess, and that's like the beauty of it. But yeah,
And what
so
about you?
success for me, I mean, being healthy, number one thing, most important thing. Obviously running my own businesses, not one.
No one.
Not one. Obviously inspiring you. So that's something that I've been really enjoying recently. I've been on YouTube for quite some time.
Yes, I don't
Uh,
remember you without having a YouTube channel.
I think since 2013, I have my first channel doing like YouTube videos on basically tearing apart stuff and doing
Really?
old lens reviews.
He's
Yeah.
linking it here, guys. Okay?
I will link my old YouTube video up there so you guys can go back and understand like the journey.
Because I'm curious, I haven't seen this stuff.
Yeah,
I
dude,
also want to rip stuff.
don't you know? Don't
Can I
you
rip
know?
this apart?
No, please don't. Don't you know when I got electrocuted by tearing down a camera?
I don't, but I kind of believe it because you do have this tendency to break things apart,
Yeah, so
especially with electricity.
once I got electrocuted by tearing down a camera. But anyways, it's also on my old YouTube video, old YouTube channel. So like inspiring people, that's the beauty of it. So like for me, one of the biggest goals, especially also with YouTube, is showing people that you can actually achieve what you want to achieve and achieving big stuff when you come from nothing.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not saying that. I mean, there are people that had it worse than me, had their childhood worse than me, and that's fine. But realistically, when you don't come, because we have this thing, or people have this thing like, shit. When it comes to success, like people, oh, it's been handed over, or it's like, oh, his parents were rich, oh, his parent, but and there's a lot of people that I know in this game where they came from nothing, and it's like they inspired me, they inspire
Yeah.
millions of other people around. So that's the other thing that I'm trying to work on.
But then there's also people who maybe do come from success, and maybe just because they have a successful family, it's like they take the credit for everything, but it doesn't mean that that individual was not successful too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? Just because I come from a rich family, maybe I don't, okay, don't rob my house. But maybe just because somebody comes from a rich upbringing, it doesn't disqualify the hard work which they've done in their life too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess people have just the stigma that things get handed over, and
Yes, and most of the times they
Something,
probably
yeah.
do. They probably do. But unfortunately, sometimes the individuals who work hard kind of get seen under the same heading. You know, they just make a blanket statement and they're like, no, this was handed down to them.
Yeah.
But it's not always that way. There's people who have to work hard ever since their young age. You know, I have friends who have houses given to them, have cars given to them, have all of this stuff given to them. You look at them passing in the road and you think they're successful. To me, that's not success. I want to work for my stuff. I
Yeah.
want to see that I've put in the sweat and the effort into it. Like, I'm not trying to be like a typical mom who's just like, you know, work hard for it and you're going to appreciate it more. But it's actually true. It's so fucking true. Like, I feel it within myself whenever I work hard for something.
You appreciate it more.
Yes. Like last time, a few months ago actually, I went and I bought myself my first designer product. And many of my friends tell me, you know what, Luke, that's such a waste of money. Why did you spend this much money on just a silly old object, which you're probably not going to use for very long? And I told them, you know what, to me, this is a symbol. It's a symbol of what I've started from ever since I was 15. I used to start working at 15. I used to put in 100 hours a week into my work. And I used to get paid €4, something like this. It's not a lot of money.
No.
It's not a lot of money. And I put in so much effort. And to me, it made me realize, you know what? Now I'm in a situation where I can reward myself with maybe some small things like this every now and then.
Yeah.
To me, that makes me realize how far I've come. Maybe to some other people, there might be other ways of realizing that. But within myself, maybe at the time, that's what I felt would make me feel this way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's also the beauty. Sometimes, like with regards to what I'm doing here, it's like documenting your stuff. It's like you can go back, and you can look into the upbringing, and that's the one thing that I would say I would want this year. I would say if I look back in December this year, and I would look back throughout this year, like this is what I would want to have achieved, like growth on this channel, inspiring people, and basically that, and business obviously. So, but like, and that's the thing. Like sometimes when it comes to the unknown, it's like technically speaking, the unknown is always there.
Of course.
So like especially like I felt this more with COVID when everyone's like, oh, we're dealing with the unknown, we're dealing with this and this kind of stuff. But realistically, once I had a good conversation with a former colleague of mine, and it was through that time where it was not going through an easy patch. And he just told me this, like, the unknown is always there. Like, we're always living in the unknown. You never know if tomorrow is your last
Yeah.
day, or to when you're going to live, or this kind of stuff. So that also ties down with what we were saying, like making most of the present moment.
Because as you said, the unknown is there. What we just have is distractions, and there's times when we're not distracted, and then we fall within that unknown.
Yeah. And in the present moment, this relates back to my previous video that I did. In the present moment, you don't have problems. You
No, you
have
don't.
information and the different decisions.
Yes, for sure.
So if you think about it, there's no problems in the present.
It's
Just
just
information.
it's like trying to tame a horse, I kind of think. Like, you just need to calm it down. You just need to sit with it. You need to greet it. You need to breathe deeply into your belly, and just be like, you know what? Give fear a name. Give this voice in your head a name. Give her a name, and whenever she comes up, calm her down. Say, you know what? I have what it takes now. That was then, and this is now, and I have what it takes to get through it. So you're gonna sit at the back seat, and I'm gonna drive this car. And I think that's just something which I've learned how to do a bit more. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an expert at it. There's times when anxiety does have me stuck from moving forward and things like this, but I think I've become better at it. I don't think there's ever gonna be a time in my life where I say I'm 100% there. I don't think that ever comes.
No.
But I just get better at it eventually, and I learn how to ride the waves rather than let those waves consume me. And I just want to make sure I get on a good wave, you know? I want to make sure I keep surfing for as long as I can, because I want to reach that beautiful beach.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, everyone gets handed over the same amount, like the same cards. It's just how you play them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like that will shape your outcome. Because if you think about it, like, you are where you are in life based on previous decision that you took along your way on coming here. So actually thinking about it, you can shape your future.
For sure.
You can, if you're an accountant, uh, you 5 years ago, before when you started studying, you took a decision to start studying accounting. So you shaped your life indirectly.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a millionaire, for example, you can actually shape your life in the current moment to start heading to that path.
And you might not achieve that path. So that's why it's important to enjoy the journey. Because if you do fail, you don't want to look back on that time and say, you know what, I wasted everything. Enjoy the process, enjoy the path. Love the unknown, you know, dance with it. It's just the way, it's what makes life beautiful.
Yeah. So like that's the thing. Like it's a beautiful, like, now that we've grown older, and
We're not that old.
we're not that old, but like, let's be honest. I mean, I get this a lot, at least for me. Like, when you speak, you sometimes do not sound like a 24 or 25-year-old. So
We're actually a quarter of a century old. Oh my god.
fuck. But jokes aside, I mean, realistically, when I look, I'm not saying you should not never compare, but indirectly, when you do compare yourself, when I compare myself to people my age, like, I failed more, and I've learned more, which now in turns makes me wiser in certain areas. I wouldn't say in all areas, obviously not, but in certain areas I can take decision, and I don't particularly particularly depend on other people to take a decision. Like, if I trust myself, so then the decision that I'm gonna take has to sit with myself.
Exactly. And if that works out and it doesn't, at least you know that that's a decision you took, and that's something which you brought on yourself. And yeah, that's just, life is full of risks, and there's no way of avoiding that.
If you risk nothing, you gain nothing.
Literally. And you could risk it all and gain nothing as well, you know? It's just the way life is. Life is a gamble in a way, and you've just got to play your cards properly. Okay? I mean, not everybody knows how to play poker, but everybody can go to lessons on how to play poker.
Yeah.
You know? Expose yourself to stuff which is going to nourish your brain. Don't expose yourself to this stuff you see on TikTok, all of this crap, you know, or these stupid memes of people arguing in the streets. There's so many of them here in Malta. Oh my god. But this is not stuff you're gonna learn from.
And people are so stuck up. Like, I get happy when friends send me, like, Leon, you know him. Me and Leon have this thing, like, we try to send each other, if we're going to send reels, because I don't have TikTok, and I never did. if we're going to send reels, we're going to try and send reels like inspiring shit or stuff that will with lessons and this kind of stuff. So nowadays, I mean, like 5% of the stuff that we send each other is this jargon stuff that's funny or whatever. But like the rest, but I have friends that send me like I sometimes send stupid stuff as well. Let's be real,
He does
uh,
send stupid stuff. I can confirm
but
that.
at least the value I get is like it gives you a giggle
It
sometimes,
does. It
as long
does.
as you don't get stuck up on it.
Why does life have to be so serious all the time? Like we just need to enjoy it as well at the same time.
So like yeah, as long as you don't get lost in the world of scrolling, like it's okay to have a giggle every now and then.
Literally, it's all about discipline. You know, no extreme is good. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. There are times when I go on TikTok before I fall asleep, and I'm just going through it, and I'm just seeing stuff which might not really inspire me. You know, but at the same time, do we need to be inspired all the time? You know, sometimes it's fine to just have a few minutes just to yourself, just to see what's going on out there.
Yeah, I don't watch the news though.
I don't watch the news either because it's just I think it's very negative, especially back here. Um, I
and
mean,
and it's controlled information.
of course.
As long as this might sound like conspiracy theory, but yeah, whatever.
I mean, everything is controlled information if you think of it.
Let's just leave that for another podcast because
Wait,
otherwise
he's closing his Bible. This feels like we're
otherwise
getting to the end of the sermon.
no, just kidding. But realistically, like that's the thing. And what were we talking about?
I don't know.
I just blanked.
Let's
Okay,
go back.
let's just go back. No, just kidding. So yeah,
No,
I
but
mean,
what we were talking about is your friend Leon.
yeah. So we try to also like the one thing that you have to be is like who you surround yourself with, and it's something very important. Like I did not understand the power of what this holds, but actually, yeah, it's very important to really have a small group of friends, like, and
Who you can learn from. I mean,
that
I'm not just
inspire you.
saying this because I'm next to you, but I genuinely feel inspired every time I walk out of your door. And I'm not saying this in any way to be a
Appreciate it.
kiss ass or anything like this. I'm being honest with you. And there's things I don't agree with, I tell you as well. But this is definitely something which I feel. Whenever I come here, I feel inspired. Maybe you don't do something, but I just notice the drive within yourself to achieve certain things. To me, that sparks something within. And it's something which I go home and I have that drive, you know? So I think
On
it's
the
something you
traveling.
should keep working with and keep sharing with other people because I think that's really beautiful.
Appreciate that, man. And like that's the thing. Obviously, when you are sometimes like, because yeah, I mean, when you are on your own path, like you can get called crazy and this kind of stuff. But like that's the thing. Like when you trust yourself and when you know that you can handle whatever comes your way, like fuck it, I fail. Like I don't care.
Literally.
I go on the next project. Like if the next business fails, so what? I start another one.
And if the next one fails, then we're just gonna get a trip and go abroad and say fuck this shit. No.
No, I mean, I would be tempted to do that. Like, I might not even be based here in Malta by the end of this year. Who knows? Like, I don't know what's
You've
gonna.
got to watch back on this video next year and see
Yeah,
what has changed.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, and honestly, like, this is the motto that I've been living with in the last few months. Like, life for me personally will take a very big step or change in direction in the next few weeks. Like, that's the big thing I've been talking about. And like that's the thing, like I have no plans.
Yeah.
Okay, business wise, yes, I know where I want to get. I know where I want to arrive at, and I do have a path to get there. But like the other stuff in life, I don't know. And like that's the beauty of it, like trusting yourself and letting go, and whatever comes your way, you're going to deal with it. And like dealing with every day, take it day by day.
Literally.
So like
You just gotta go for it.
what in the most important thing is like what do I have in the present moment? Like, what's the next step?
Yeah. And as you said, I think it's just so important to just take stock of what you already have, you know, because it's so easy to say I want
Yeah.
more within this life. I wanna have this, I wanna drive this, I wanna just fall in love with what you already have. Because I think that's just it's going to give you power to appreciate what you have now, and obviously how to appreciate what you're going to get in the future too. It's useless going to work hard for something that once you get it, you don't even have time to appreciate it. You don't have time to look at it. You don't have time to admire its beauty.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like people nowadays I mean, people are scared to take basically like they're scared to take the step that will basically out of fear. So like we are, if you think about it, when we are raised as kids, we are raised with fear.
Yes.
We are raised to be scared of fear. And
It's like, for example, when you go running and your
oh, be careful, you're going
lace
to
is
fall.
undone. Be careful, you're gonna fall. Whenever you're close to the fire, be careful, move far away from it. Yes, to some extent, that is true,
But
but
sometimes,
it plays something within
yeah.
somebody's mind. It tells that it's very risk averse.
And think about it, like what would be the lesson that you would learn if you get burned at a young age?
I learned not to stand too close to fire. I
Exactly.
did get burnt at a young age,
So
actually.
like sometimes the lesson of actually not failing, but like the lesson of actually trying, not trying, I don't know the exact word, but like basically, how do you say it?
Hmm.
It's like it's better to fall down at a young age and hurt yourself at a young age,
So that you can
so then you
experience
can
it.
get an experience through it, and it links. Obviously there's limitations to this, granted, but like on the
Hopefully
small
your
stuff.
audience, I hope your audience is older than 5 years old and
Yes,
they don't do this.
I hope so. I would assume so, but like, and that's the thing. Like the one thing that there's this thing where you actually should ask yourself, how big would you dream if you knew you wouldn't fail?
Yeah.
How big would you dream? Imagine there's no failure is not an option. You're gonna be successful. How big would you dream?
Very big.
Exactly.
Very big.
But what if?
But I don't know how. I know how big I would dream, but I don't know what I would dream. Because my whole life I've been limited to what I think is within reach. So I think it's something I have to take time to develop within myself.
Oh, okay. I'm very different in that regard.
You're very different in that regard, I know.
No, I mean, if you ask me, like, I know what I want in life, and I know that regardless, I don't know the way that I'm gonna take, but I know I'm gonna get there.
That's good.
So, like, that's the perseverance. Also, is part of persisting of on the things like, and there's this quote. I think you would like it. It's the price of progress is pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
The price of progress is pain.
For sure. Again, you don't want everything handed to you on a silver platter.
And
That
people
is
are
just
scared
not
of
pain.
people are scared of pain. So like when you get scared of pain, you fall back onto the comfort zone.
Yes. Absolutely, 100%.
And like that's the thing. Like last year or the year before, I was stuck again in the comfort zone, and I had to do like slap myself in the face and basically like get myself up and running again. Because when you get conscious of doing it, but that's the thing. Like even if I fall, you know that you have what it takes to get back up, as you
Literally,
said.
literally. And I really do this thing that when I'm, let's say, for example, I'm on my bed and I'm just chilling. Sometimes I notice myself that I just stay there and it stays a routine. So what I need to do is I do this thing, which is like I put on a timer in my head
Three,
and
two,
I
one.
just count from 10 to 0. And I say at 0, I'm going to get up. And I just sprint out of bed then. And then it's done. It's done. You should really try this method if you haven't tried it before. I thought it's absolute bollocks when I heard of it.
No, it's
But to
actually
me, it
great.
really works.
No, definitely. And
It creates a hype. It creates an adrenaline rush just thinking about this timer going on. You know, we're used to hearing timers in kind of anticipation for something to happen. Think about it, New Year's. You know, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. It's the same with our life. You know, if you want to do something, if you're at home and you're lazy and you say, I really want to go to the gym, but I don't have energy. Just say like, you know what, Luke, 10 seconds, and you're gonna put on those clothes.
yeah,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, out of the door.
definitely. And like that's the thing. Sometimes it's discipline. Like people like discipline nowadays.
Yes, for sure. An element of discipline is definitely important. If you want to achieve your goals, you have to be disciplined about it.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be disciplined, you're going to sidetrack. It's fine to sidetrack sometimes, but it's one thing to sidetrack and it's one thing to go completely off course. And you got to notice this within yourself. You got to take stock of what's happening within your life, which is why it's important to journal, I think. Because when you journal, you see it in front of you. It's tangible. It's visible. And then you can correct yourself. And that's just the importance of it. If you're just gonna move sidetrack slowly, I mean, obviously over the course of 1 kilometer, a little bit of a change doesn't make much difference. But over 100 kilometers, you're gonna end up somewhere completely different.
That's true. And like people nowadays are, if you look at the average person, they're just floating
Yes.
without having a vision or a direction, and that is so dangerous.
I feel it's like a time bomb, and they're just waiting for their time to be up.
That is really really dangerous. And if you are in this position, I would really encourage you to be conscious. First step is to get conscious
Yes.
about it. So like being aware what you are currently doing, and then you can also like I have a few other videos that are basically it's like getting out of a rut and this kind of stuff. So but it's basically the first step is to understand the current position that you're in.
Yes.
This because like it is so common, and like nowadays when I speak with different people, even like at work or whatever, and I start talking like, and they always tell me like, how do you do it? Like, how do you wake up in the morning and be so driven and this kind of stuff? And like,
And what is your answer to them?
I just do it. It has something that has to get done. It needs to get done. It needs to get done.
Discipline.
I need to by the end of the day, if I hadn't achieved what I planned to achieve,
Yeah.
it's not, I won't say it's a wasted day, but
You're just gonna go to bed with not a good feeling in your belly.
and then I need to get, the first thing I'm gonna do the next day is do this. Obviously, there are different like with regards to fitness. Like obviously there are at the moment with the current like life, I would be able to sidetrack here and there, but not more for like for example, I wouldn't miss a session for more than 2 days in a row.
That's the thing, because, and I noticed it within myself. I can go to the gym and I can go for 5 months consistently, but the minute I go on a trip, which lasts at least 2 weeks, that's the minute when it gets really tough for me to get back into it.
And you know how me and Wesley Leon found a way around this?
How? Please tell me.
Book hotels with fitness centers in them.
Yes, for
and
sure.
take your stuff with you.
But I don't book hotels, I book hostels, and they don't usually have this.
Or just go to a gym, a local gym. Like plenty of gyms offer single passes and this kind of stuff. And like even when I flew to Asia, like a few weeks ago, like I still trained.
Yeah.
Maybe not as consistently, but I still woke up and trained. And there were nights where we arrived at the apartment, me and Luke, because we went out.
It's not me, by the way.
The other Luke. When we arrived back in the apartment at like 5 a.m. and I still woke up at 8 a.m. to get training done before we head out for the day.
Yeah.
That's discipline.
It's like having your breakfast.
It is breakfast, because then you're even more hungry and then you eat more.
That's true. That's true.
But
and it's similar to making your bed in the morning. When you wake up and you make your bed in the morning, it feels like I've ticked something off my day. I want to get more done now. You know, I like to make lists for myself of things I have to do, because I enjoy seeing that list grow and be like, oh my God, Luke, you've managed to do 3-4 things. And if I write 4 things on my list, at the end of the day, I've finished 7. Because I'll just be in the routine of it. I have that adrenaline rush. I have that momentum going. And then you end up doing more.
And then they stick up.
Yes, they do.
Like that's discipline will get transferred from the small things to the big things. This is what I noticed. Like there's not a day nowadays where I don't do my bed. It's just the first thing I do. Instinct.
Yeah.
If I wake up at 4 a.m., the bed gets done. If I wake up at 8 a.m., the bed gets done. That's just how it is. Like
the worst thing for me is going home and finding a dirty bed.
Oh, it causes like and this.
It just feels incomplete.
The environment. It's when you are surrounded with a chaotic environment. What, like your environment dictates your state of mind.
Yes, of course. You spend most of your time in your home. You know, you need to create a home which is a temple for you.
So like that's the thing that I started working on. Like before, I used to be like so clumsy and leaving stuff everywhere. Now I am very much more organized. So and I feel a very big difference in the environment which it creates.
Yeah.
Like even if I have to get work done downstairs in the bedroom, rather than up here.
It works wonders.
It works wonders. Having a clean environment, or like waking up or arriving home after a long day, And having a clean environment, big
So
thing.
kids, do your bed in the morning,
Do your
okay?
bed, guys.
It's
Do
important.
your bed.
Literally. And change your sheets every couple of weeks. How often do you change your bed sheets? I'm curious.
It depends, man.
Because
In summer here, it's very like since it gets like 40 degrees with the
yeah,
humidity and
yeah.
stuff, like
I have friends who
frequently.
change it every day, but to be honest, I think that's a
No,
bit
that's
too much.
exaggerated.
That's extreme.
My mom would not like that.
That is a lot of electricity
That is a lot.
and a lot of soap. No, I think I change mine once every week.
Yeah, something like that. It
And-
depends. It depends, though.
Yes,
It really depends.
it depends.
So, I mean, like sometimes you just know when your sheets.
Yeah.
And it depends if you shower before getting into bed. It depends like on a lot of
It's
factors.
such a nice feeling just getting into bed and just having that smell of soap
Yes.
on your pillows. It just feels like.
Yes, that's true. That's
I
true.
mean, anyways, we're veering off topic.
Sidetracking.
I think this comes to the end of our podcast.
I think it's just about an hour or something like that, which is quite good for our first podcast. And it's been a bit experimental. So like, obviously you guys are used to seeing me alone or with the vlogs.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I need to push out more vlogs. Need to be more consistent on the vlogging aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do look forward to because I'm getting a lot of feedback from people, what they want to see. So if you do have feedback, heartburn. If you do have feedback, reach out.
Literally. Thanks for having me on the show. I hope to see you guys again soon. Keep looking at Andrea's journey. Keep supporting him. I think it's important to.
You'll be in the next vlogs.
I'll be in the next vlogs. I hope so.
In the Vienna one.
I'll be in the Vienna vlog, guys. If you have any comments of what we can do over there, please do shoot them down. I do have a lot of things in my itinerary already because I actually live there. But yeah, let us know what you want to see, and we can try and do that.
Definitely, as long as it's not some crazy ass shit.
No, let's do that crazy ass shit, but then we'll tone it down.
Yeah, but we need to.
I'm just not jumping off an airplane because I'm scared of heights.
If we're going to go to Dubai and do skydiving.
I'm not going to Dubai and doing skydiving. I'm going to Dubai and I'm just going to stay by the pool and I'm going to get tanned.
If my YouTube channel reaches 100k with this video, we go do skydiving in Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deal. 100k.
100k subscribers, huh?
100k. Oh, now you're making it a bit harder.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, I'm not trying to make it hard, but like I'm at currently like 130 something, so
okay.
There's still a long journey to go. But that's the beauty of it, enjoying the passage of time.
Literally.
So like enjoying the passage. So we'll see where this goes.
Let's see where we go, and I look forward to listening to this video in a couple of years' time.
Oh my god!
And wondering what has changed.
We'll have a full setup studio. We'll have video guys working on the back.
We're gonna have security standing outside, making sure nobody comes in.
A helicopter, a private jet.
Literally, you think of it, you name it. We're gonna have it all.
Yeah, for sure. So guys, wrapping it up. Thank you guys for watching. I do hope you found this valuable, most importantly, because this is the most important thing for me. And do shoot down in the comments who you want to see or what topics you want to see. And
we look forward to seeing the comments and seeing the feedback from this video.
Sometimes the comments can provide mix, but whatever. Who gives a shit anyways? Like, you just keep doing what you want to do, guys.
Literally.
Fuck what people
Let the spectators spectate. Don't let them dictate, right?
Definitely. Right, guys. See you soon.
Wait, do you have an ending punching line for it? Do you do something? Do you say like...
No, I'm just hungry, though.
You're just hungry. I'm also hungry.
Anyways, sidetracking. But, guys, thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And hope to see you guys in the next one.
See you guys. Take care.
Peace.
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 They do this.